Hey, what's going on everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this brand new unboxing and impressions video. We're going to be taking a look at the Region Locked book from the creators of Did You Know Gaming. They did not send me this book. I actually bought this myself through Amazon. It just came in today, so big shout outs to Amazon and to Did You Know Gaming and the guys over at Region Locked for making this book for me to look at. But a couple things I do want to note about this, okay? I did get it on Amazon. I paid for it with my own money. It actually arrived pretty banged up. I don't know if you guys could see it very well. Again, it's not looking too clear on the camera and stuff, but there are a couple like scratches and few other like nicks and like compressions on the cover itself, which I was very disappointed about because this book came in without any sort of plastic wrap or anything else. Normally when I get books and I order them off Amazon or someplace, they're wrapped up in a plastic showcasing that they're new, they're brand new and that nobody has opened them up and stuff. Now I don't know if all the books are getting shipped like that, you know, in this way, or if other books had gotten the wrap and stuff. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments if you ended up getting this book, how it arrived for you. But that's how it arrived for me. And again, just the idea that there's like scratches and stuff on the book already and I didn't even open it from the box beforehand, kind of a little bit annoying. But regardless though, we're going to open up this book and see what it's like. Now I do have to say also too, I kind of cheated a little bit on this, where I did look at it after I picked it up. From the box and stuff, because I was curious, you know, to see like anything else was like messed up or anything else got like nicked or stuff, and luckily not too bad. But there are some other things I do want to discuss about this book in relation to just putting together gaming books as a whole, so I don't want to feel like I'm picking on the guys at Did You Know Gaming, but this is, again, an unboxing and review, and we are going to go through most of this book. Now, it is authored by the guys who do run Region Locked, or do the show Region Locked over on Did You Know Gaming, which is pretty cool. They cover a lot of unreleased games, or games that never really came out here in North America, or at least in the North American region, I should say, so like the US, Canada, probably South America, etc. But they do have a lot of games that they do cover in here, and again, as you guys can see from the table of contents, there's a lot. Which is neat because the idea of just being able to get some insight into games that we never really got to play here in the States, that's pretty cool to me. And of course, got the intro and all this other stuff, the special thanks, and a lot of the other people that are part of Did You Know Gaming or Region Locked themselves, which is nice. Okay, so anyway, to the book, and you're going to see me adjusting the brightness on the camera here every once in a while, just to showcase a little bit of the book. Now, one thing I will say that's a nitpick with my time looking through this book, like I did before I started recording, there's kind of an inconsistency with the way that the pages feel and the way that the pages overall are presented. Not just with the color scheme and everything else, because I will say that if you're someone that's really picky about how you read your stuff in all your books, whether it's gaming hardcover books or otherwise, you're going to be a little annoyed with just how some of the way that some of the games are presented, because pages like this are pretty good. They're pretty nice. Again, it's pretty uniform. It's pretty, you know, presented nicely. Okay. And then same thing also with here, because you get larger images, you get nice, you know, screenshots of the games themselves, which I'll get into in just a bit. But you also get some nice breakdowns of the history, as well as also why certain games did not come to the States, why certain games were only released in certain areas, you know, outside of North America, etc. Now, the only problem that I have with this is that there are some pages where there's just nothing but a block of text. There's no screenshots. There's nothing else within it. But also, some of the screenshots are out of focus, which I understand, you know, I can't be too harsh on it because sometimes some of these games, they're so old because they were done at like, what, 360p resolution, if not smaller. In some cases, just blown up. And blowing those up sometimes, like, they're not going to look as clean or crisp. But my only counter argument to that is that other books that we have reviewed on this channel have featured games that have been pretty freaking old, and they're presented much nicer. That could also be because having better masters of the images, better access to higher quality streams or presentation of the games. I don't know. It's not necessarily my problem. Okay, I'm only judging it based on what's in the book itself, you know, as we could see it. But it is like that scattered throughout the entirety of the book. Now, the other thing, too, I will say is that there is a nice variety of genres that are covered here in this Region Locked book, which is nice because you get a whole bunch of different stuff from RPGs, JRPGs, a lot of action games that never made its way over here, a lot of sports stuff, you know, not too much of it, but some sports stuff that probably wouldn't work for this audience here in the States, but it was definitely a hit in Japan. Like, here we go. Okay, we got like this giant wall of text, not really screenshots other than the ones we have over here. We got a shot of the character, but it would have been nice to break this up a little bit and maybe have another screenshot of the game itself, you know, besides that, and then have the ones over here as well. Again, that's me being nitpicky, but still. And I say that because we also get other images like this of games like Cheesy, where we have like 4 screenshots and there's not a lot of text. That could also be because there's probably not a lot to say about the games themselves. But there is one thing I do want to harp on a little bit, okay? And this one I feel like is a legit criticism of this book. And again, not trying to pick on them, but I'm just saying this is how it felt as me, as a reader and as a fan looking at this book. They do have these guest articles for certain games, which we've seen before, believe it or not, on some of the books that we've looked at on this channel and I've done in the past, especially with the bitmap books. You'll have guest editors or guest writers that come in and talk about a specific game. And in this case, it's Cat Icarus or Caddy that's covering the game Cheesy. He's done a video about Cheesy in the past. Go look it up on his YouTube channel. It's actually pretty funny. But here's the problem, though, with it. When you have stuff like this, especially when you have multiple people like this, okay, especially for a book that's only really being done by a couple people and doesn't have as many pages as you could tell compared to the bitmap books, you start to get an inconsistency in tone. And the only reason why I say that is because, look, like even in this book like here, it's like, you know, see this game, fuck it, fuck Cheesy, and his stupid yellow bastard imitation face, which is kind of funny. But putting that to the side, you know, I would rather have it as someone that collects a lot of different gaming books. Instead of having the guest writers in here, just have the first couple of authors that are part of it, which I believe is Greg, and I'm trying to look just so I can show you guys. There's a couple different authors that are part of it. I think there's about 4 different authors in this book. Could be wrong in here. Let me see, because I know I've seen... Okay, here we go. Does it have it listed on here? I know I saw it listed somewhere on the book. Okay, here we go. Matt Barnes, Daz Brown, and Greg Seguio Curl. Okay, so there's 3 authors, I'm sorry, that are the ones that are from Region Locked that did this book. And then they got Kid Icarus. I know they got, was it, oh my god, where is it? Because they have it listed here on the back. I'm actually going to get the actual name so I can show you guys. So I can actually speak to exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay, so they got DJ Slope, Guru Larry, Ashins, and Kid Icarus, which are the 4 guest articles that they have for different games. But they do appear in various different points. And to me, I would rather not have that if you're only going to have so many pages on here. Because there's a total of like, what? 200 and something pages? Okay, about 208 pages. Okay, and a lot of this is multiple different games and stuff. For the majority of it, it is written by the original 4 or 3 authors. Okay, compared to what we've seen with bitmap books, where they have a couple more extra than the guest articles here, but they have a lot more pages devoted to them. So at that point, it's like, again, checks and balances, I get it. But personally for me, like when I look at this and there's like a bunch of different ones written by maybe like the first few, like, you know, authors and stuff, I would rather just not have the guest articles for something like this anyway. Okay, take it for what you will. But I feel like, at least to me, looking at some of the articles, especially such the divergent like tones and the voices here, I would rather have it the original way, where it's just the guys from Did You Know actually writing it. Anyway, moving on from there, again, I'm trying to go to like some of the other pages that I saw in here. I will say, though, it is cool seeing games like Cowboy Bebop. Okay, after Cheesy, we got Cowboy Bebop and Cowboy Bebop on the PS2. Stuff like that is really interesting, really neat to see. But look, this is what I'm talking about. No screenshots, but look at this wall of text. A wall of text. Now, I believe, do they have it in here? No, they actually don't. No screenshots from the game. Now, did this one actually... Yeah, it got released in Japan, so it would have been nice to maybe have another page. If you're going to do the wall of text, which I would rather you not. I would rather have it like maybe 1 or 2 screenshots to break it up and then have another page to finish it off. You know, but if you are going to do this, have the next page be a full shot or screenshot of the game. You know, so you know what I mean? Just kind of break it up and also show me what you're talking about here. Granted, Matt has a lot to say about Cowboy Bebop, but you notice that a couple times in this book. But then in other games, like, again, you got these nice layouts right here. You got screenshots of the game. You got the box art, which is cool. I love seeing box arts. Again, these are multiple games, but still, having multiple shots like this where I could actually see a visual representation of what you're referring to, I think is much better than just having the wall of text. The only exception I could say to that would be when you have stuff with hardware, like in this case right here. Let me see if I can lower the brightness a little bit, just so you guys can see it. Having some hardware here where it's like, okay, you're referring to that console and stuff, you're referring to the cartridges and such. To me, I find that to be a little bit more acceptable. Anyway, we're scrolling through, and again, I'm not going through the majority of these games here, as you know, as I pass through one, which I'm going to do right now. I'll talk about it. So obviously Fatal Frame, very popular series, but this game never came outside of Japan. It actually was just released only in Japan, which is very cool to see. Again, at least get to check out some of the stuff with this game. But look, you got the box art, you got screenshots, both large and smaller screenshots, which you don't need to have always large images, but it is nice to mix things up. We see that a lot with the Dark Horse books, because the Dark Horse books, they have a lot to pull from, so they have a lot to work with. Probably a little bit more than what these guys had, but something like this is almost perfect for me. This is exactly what I want to see, especially for a popular game like this. I know as I get a little bit further along, I hope I could get to it so I could show you guys where they cover Namco Cross Capcom, which was, again, another example of that I could refer to. Holy Diver, again, look at this. You got box art, multiple images, back images for larger prints. I love stuff like this. This looks pretty good. Okay, this actually looks pretty freaking good, where you have a more in focus screenshot, even though it's still in the same aspect ratio, but it's blown up. It's not blurry. It looks good. You still have text, but it's still complemented by this large image. This is what works to me. Okay, and you see it throughout, in multiple spots. Even double images like this is still pretty good, but still the stuff is still talking about all that. Okay, so anyway, as we keep going, get to the rest of it. I do want to say, because of the authors here, I do like how they have like these little blurbs that talk about some of their thoughts about the games, giving their other impressions that's not really part of this text here. Like, I guess you could say secondary or tertiary words to stuff that's about these specific games, which is nice. If you're a fan of Did You Know Gaming, if you're a fan of Region Locked, stuff like that is going to work for you. Stuff like that is going to work very well. If you're not, however, we'll talk about that towards the end. Okay, of course, we get more blocks of text. I would rather, besides the characters, which is fun, stuff like this, when you have multiple characters to show, is great. But when you just got only a few and you got this giant wall of text, put a screenshot in here. Put another screenshot of, like, maybe related to some of these characters. It would be really nice to see that. LSD, the Dream Emulator, is another one. I know a couple people have, like, covered that game in the past. Same thing, like I mentioned before. Mario and Warrior, here's another one that actually kind of works because it has multiple things going on for it. I would even still, like, move this character over here and just have more text in different spots to kind of move your eye around the pages. I'm going to keep repeating that because it's totally true. Again, you got other stuff here with other characters, big images here, which is nice. Let's keep going, show you guys a little bit more. Again, just going through the book, just looking at some of these games. As soon as I get to the ones, here we go. Namco Cross Capcom. Very popular game. A lot of people that are into JRPGs or tactical strategy RPGs know about this game, especially if you're either a Capcom or a Bandai Namco fan. This is a perfect example of, like, laying out almost every element that's included in this book. You have an extra word from Daz, you got the box art, you got talk with the text, you got screenshots, you got character shots. This is almost freaking perfect right here, okay? And this one you get a little bit more text, but you still get screenshots scattered throughout. And again, just using elements all over the place, I feel like it works very well. This is almost like, in my opinion, my favorite entry out of the entire book, and the way that they handled it. Okay, but again, you keep going through and you see all these other games that never really released here in the States, that have been, like, either released only in Japan or in other areas, in multiple spots. Police Knots, check that out. It's a classic, especially if you're a Kojima fan. Now, here's the other thing, too. This is another example. I can see it right here. It's out of focus, the screenshot. Maybe that could be because of the resolution. That could be any number of reasons for that, especially because, again, maybe it's a little bit blown up, but I know they could probably find a better shot of that looks a little bit more focused. Not this spot up here, but this right here. I'm pretty sure, like, you could find another one, or use a different image. Break up some of this text like that. And you notice things like that all across. Look, here, nothing but text here. And granted, you got a larger image and you got all this other stuff, but put something like, different over here. Break it up. I'm just saying. Books like this, hardcover gaming-related books, they have a lot of visual material that goes with them. A lot of visual stuff because gamers were very visual. Look, this is pretty good here. You still got text, but you got multiple large images to refer to, breaking it up. And even here with the Zelda, you would think the guys at Did You Know Gaming, because they love Zelda so much, maybe have a lot more screenshots for the BS Zelda game. Granted, they can only show so much, and they have it scattered through across multiple pages, but still, break up a little bit more of this text. Look at this. You got the logo and you got all this stuff, but come on, mess around with it just a tiny bit more. Again, I know I'm being nitpicky. I know I'm being a pain in the butt here, but that's at least, I would have felt that would have made it even more successful. And here we go. Same thing, Seaman. Granted, everybody has seen the game Seaman, especially in Dreamcast, but the PlayStation 2 version, show me more shots of the PlayStation 2 version over here. Show me more stuff, maybe some other promotional material, since I know we have a couple shots here from Seaman 2, which is, again, really the reason why they have this here, because Seaman 2, I never even knew there was a Seaman 2, which is crazy. And same thing, Sega Gaga. I can't even pronounce the name here. Again, giant page of text. But anyway, you guys get the idea of what I'm getting at here. Okay, so overall, this book is really just for fans of Did You Know Gaming or fans of Region Locked that love these YouTube personalities that just want to see more stuff from them and want to support stuff from them. This concept for a book overall, by the way, Sweet Home, the big, inspiration for Resident Evil. But I would have loved to see more screenshots over here. I'm just saying. I'm just playing. But still, as far as a concept for a book, looking at games that were never really released in other areas or stuff that never came here to the States, it's a great idea. But I think like this concept could be executed a little bit better than what we have here for a number of different reasons. Like I can imagine if these guys had the budget that probably like someone like Dark Horse or Bitmap Books would have had, or at least the handling of it. Look, by the way, Valkyria Chronicles 3 for the PSP never came here to the States. I feel like this book could have been even more like fantastic. It would have been a lot more better overall. And the other thing too is like we do have acknowledgments and stuff, but it kind of just ends. You know, there's no like other thing like, you know, talking a little bit more about Did You Know Gaming or about the authors themselves. Maybe have a profile for each of the actual guest authors besides the people that are the regular authors of the book. That type of stuff would have been really cool to see. And again, it just gives like all like shout outs to the Patreon supporters and everybody else that supported the book. And I get it. That's fine. Again, the main thing is, this is really, if you're a fan of Region Locked, you're probably going to want to get this, but I would even argue maybe they could do this a little bit better. They could probably handle this a little bit better, like focus a little bit more on some of the things I mentioned on some of the different pages, but, you know, apply it to the entirety of the book. Maybe have it a little bit thicker. I know it's not cheap. It's not easy to make a book like this, so I give them a lot of credit. Same thing, again, it's not cheap to put so many pages, because 500 pages, I can only imagine, probably was like, you know, breaking the bank. And this one's about 200 and something. But still, I feel like we should definitely have a book like this that explores games that have never really been released in all areas. But still, I think that it could be a little bit better. Now, again, going back to the stuff that I mentioned before, maybe this could also, you know, be improved with some of the packaging and stuff, because again, I'm not a fan of like some of the cuts and stuff that I ended up getting in my copy of the book. It could be just an Amazon thing, but it is noteworthy from my experience checking out this book. So regardless though, I know I rambled on for a lot, you know, with this book. Those are my overall thoughts about Region Locked from the creators of Did You Know Gaming, this book here. Let me know your own thoughts about Region Locked down below in the comments section. Tell me, are you going to be picking up this book? Are you a fan of these guys? Do you like the idea of checking out unreleased games for multiple regions? Talk to me about some of your favorite unreleased games that you know of, that you love talking about. Talk to me about that stuff down below in the comments section, and I will talk to all of you again soon. Peace out, and stay epic, everybody. Hey, thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it enough to check out some of my other videos I'll list here on the side in just a moment. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel to see new content that I post up as it goes out. You can also join my Patreon for early access to new videos and exclusive content you'll only see over there. Don't forget to join my Discord server via the link in the description too. There's a lot of great people who love gaming and make an amazing community in there that I know you'll love being part of. Hope to see you again real soon. Peace out and stay epic, everyone.